Morning, everyone.
Morning.
So Lori's gone over a lot of like the pre and post show, setting objectives, goals, and such. I'm going to talk mostly about what you're going to do in your space as far as your booth, your graphics, your print media, your staffing, how to prepare for actually physically being at the show. So again, we've got booth design and graphics, your print media, promotional items. Lori hit a little bit on that, kind of some ideas for low budget, if it even makes sense for you to do that. Booth appeal. As far as this, if there's any one thing that you can take away from this workshop is you have 5 seconds to capture somebody's attention. There's 3,000 people coming through this show. There's multiple booths. They're walking down an aisle. You want within 5 seconds to look and say, oh, who are these guys? Okay, their company name is this, and they do maybe 2 or 3 things, the key service that you provide. You want that message out there in 5 seconds. And we'll talk a little bit about getting people to come into your booth and what not to do with that. Key is invest in graphics. If you have a beautiful booth and it's plain, no color, no pop, no lighting, no movement, it's not worth the investment. So really pay attention to what you're doing for graphics, even if it's contacting somebody outside of your company to kind of design those for you. That's key. It's worth the investment. If your budget is tight and graphics, or basically eat up all your budget, consider renting the hardware used, whether it's a pop-up, whether it's something a little, the banner stand hardware or such. That's always an option, so keep that in mind if you really want to just invest the bulk of your money in graphics. Using dynamic and large graphics, we've kind of used this one here. You can see the first thing that catches your eye. What is the first thing that catches your eye if you're looking at the graphic? The blue thing up on the right, right?
Water.
It's like this, ooh, what's that? Oh, it's Atlantium. Whatever they do something with water, right? So again, there's a couple little bullet points on there, once you get somebody into your booth. So we really strongly suggest use as little text as possible. It is a billboard, it is not your brochure. You do not want to take your brochure and print it onto your back wall. Nobody's going to come in there and stand and read all of that. You want to be able to talk to them about something, so keep it simple, a couple bullet points that are going to start engaging them to talk. Well, what do? I see you do something with water. What exactly is it? So, again, keep that into consideration. PMS colors are key. Does anybody in here not know what PMS stands for? When it comes to, when it comes to the designing piece. So, as far as design and logos and colors, and the red is now on my cheeks. Is there anybody that does not understand what a PMS color is? Okay. It is a Pantone matching system. You kind of see this wheel here. In the design world, it's key in your logos, any colors that you use for your design to be consistent. There is a number that's attached to your blue, to your red, to your green, and it is consistent across the board in your print media, your booth graphics, down to your business cards. It's key that you have that set from the original time that you designed your logo. Perhaps maybe you designed your logo yourself. And when it comes to doing graphics, that's the time to pick those colors and keep it consistent. You want to do, bold colors. Don't do like a tan booth with like creams and white. White's good if you do pops of color, but stay away from the neutrals. If you're a medical company and it needs to be crisp and clean, then do some pops of blue, pops of red, pops of that like lime green that everybody likes. Definitely do something to make the booth pop, so keep that in mind. Again, it's going to draw attention. When folks are walking by, they're like, oh, it's something that pops. The 5-second rule, the second rule, keep it simple. Nobody wants to come by and see just a bunch of stuff everywhere. I'm sure anybody that's walked a trade show floor before has walked by somebody's booth with a table out front and their wares spread all over it, and a bunch of stuff everywhere, things hanging. So it's overwhelming. Keep it simple. You want a few key products. Let's say you're 50 items that you sell. What are the most important? When you're figuring out who you want to target for your audience, what product is going to apply to that audience in the Raleigh market? You want to focus on those pieces. Maybe you take an actual few with you that your customers can touch and feel, or maybe it's demoed on a video, but don't try and show your entire catalog at the trade show. That's something that you can talk about later when you're meeting with them face-to-face, when you follow up. So again, a couple of key products. Lighting is huge. You can kind of see from this design here. There's stem lights, there's down lighting, there's lighting inside so that it illuminates those walls. Again, it's attracting folks. You've got big graphics, your logo. Who are these folks? Well, they're ARC. I mean, 5 seconds you know who this company is. Again, lighting, it can increase traffic and attention to the booth by 30 to 50% over just a static graphic that's sitting in the back, lighting. Again, I mean, you don't see the monitor on there, but there's a bracket. So there's actually a monitor that would go into that display. And again, that's movement. People like to watch TVs. Let's face it, how many times do you go to a restaurant or a bar and you're talking with somebody and your eyes are focused on the television? Even if you don't watch sports, you're still watching the game. Flooring is key. The convention center is a cement floor. So in the show kits that you'll get from the chamber, we strongly advise carpeting. We strongly advise padding because you're going to be standing on that floor for numerous hours. Ladies, high heels look wonderful, but we'll get into that. You don't want to be standing on concrete all day in stilettos. It's just not, it's not going to work for you all day. Again, large IDs. In this design here, you see top, center, large, Aeroglide. Again, you're going to come think, what's the first thing that draws your attention in this booth? What's the first thing that you see? The name, and then the lighting that's not really properly captured in a photograph, but you can kind of see, you're like, oh, what's going on over there? Again, and it's varying heights. Again, that's all part of the design. You want to attract attention. Very little text in this. You can tell by, you can't really see the images in here, but you can tell right away, oh, well, they dry food. I can see, like cereals and stuff. So again, pictures, immediately 5 seconds, they know what's going on. I'm not sure how many of you have chosen booth spaces or what's left, but when you're looking at a show hall plan for booth space at the event, in this particular one, capitalize on those corner booths because you can always drop that half curtain, and then you've got 2 open aisles. So if you can envision somebody coming around, you've got the median between you and the other booth, but really you've got traffic here, traffic coming through. Definitely capitalize on that. And then as you can see, also design your booth to fit that space. They've kept this whole side open with the reception counter on the corner to kind of meet and greet people. And again, it's just, can't stress enough, keeping it simple in your big graphics, bold colors, your logos. As far as how to place things in the booth, again, I'm going to talk about so many people, their first trade show, you get a table with your booth, they so want to put it right smack in front and put all their products, literature, business cards. You will create a barrier. Nobody will step in your booth because they're going to walk by and you're right on the aisle. They're more than likely just going to be overwhelmed and think, okay, I have no idea what these people do. There's just a bunch of stuff everywhere. They're going to keep walking. Probably even avoid contact with you eyes. So again, they might, we'll talk a little bit about promotional items. A lot of people spread their promotional items all over the table. People that are going to buy a swipe and then keep walking. So, and with that, just make sure everything's in scale. Don't do a banner stand in the background and then a huge reception desk or table or a piece of equipment sitting out on the front. It's just off balance. Nobody's ever going to come in your booth if you've got anything large sitting there or you're standing behind a desk just kind of looking at them. So, brochures, again, everyone's on limited budgets, tight budgets. Something simple for a trade show, like a one-sheeter, is key. Again, if it gets tossed in the trash, you haven't invested a lot of money. It's, here's who we are, kind of some bullets on what we do. Again, it's a one-sheeter. That's something to use for a trade show. Maybe you take a few of, larger ones of these, but you keep them kind of hidden underneath, and you only give them to somebody that you really know is going to be a strong prospect. It makes sense to invest that amount of money to, further that lead. Again, maybe it's a quick, fold of all of your products, but definitely don't be handing out big product catalogs. It's too expensive. More than likely, people do not want to carry them around. We'll get into this about business cards. It's a great opportunity. Take their card, write a little note, follow up with them. Whether you mail it, maybe they're a local Raleigh company, it gives you an opportunity to get in the door and drop it off personally. Again, You know, like Lori was saying, get your name out there, capitalize on those leads, and really following up. You've met with them on the show floor, which is great, but this will give you another opportunity to get in the door, maybe meet them and the rest of their team. So again, it's just building relationships. Again, more importantly, get their business card. You know, whether you're scanning them or whatever, get their business card. We'll talk about, make notes on the back. That's what I do. I'll say, you know, in our industry, if they're interested in portables, I'll put portables on the back, or maybe they're looking to purchase in 6 months. Little key notes so I'll remember who they were. Because you're going to meet a lot of people, and it's key to just write down little details that you're like, oh, I remember this person. Again, business cards. Don't forget these. I mean, if you're thinking about the booth, you're thinking about what you bring in, all your service, it's very easy to walk out the door and realize, oh my goodness, I left my business cards in the office. So again, if these are the first things that you throw in your box or you pack with your booth and they just stay there permanently, don't forget, forget your business cards. Hand them out individually. If anybody's been at a trade show, if this were my booth, solicitors are going to come by, they're going to grab your business card and you're going to get spammed to death after the show. There's no way of avoiding it. I'll hold my business cards in my hand. I'll pass them out individually when people talk to me. Again, you're going to kind of limit the amount of people that are your phone number, your cell phone. Somebody gave my cell phone away, so I've got people, calling my cell phone now with, telemarketers. So protect that information. It's only, not everybody needs it. And again, you'll have that person that'll grab your card, not even look at you, and just walk away. Like that person's going to just flood my inbox. In-booth promotions. It's an effective way to gather leads. Lori kind of talked about this. Maybe your goal for the show is to just really build your database. Maybe you're a new company here in Raleigh and, you're just starting to prospect and meet folks. It's a great way to collect those leads. They're not all going to be good. They're not all going to be a great fit for your business. But again, get your name out there. We've got all our little logos here. Social media is great. Take advantage of this. Tweet whatever you're giving away. If you're giving an iPad away, tweet it. Put it on your Facebook page. Make a note of it on your LinkedIn account. Hey, we're going to be at the Business Expo, and if you bring back Buck mailer, you're going to win an iPad or something like that. Definitely just blanket every social media opportunity as far as what you're doing at the show. And again, the trade show is going to talk a little bit, or the workshop will talk a little bit more about how to do that, tweeting in the booth and all that. Again, and these things, it's great for anything, whether your service is accounting, janitorial, whatever it is, it's, get your product out there. Promotional items, they're expensive. They're very expensive. Again, you're going to find people are just collecting notepads and pens and squishy balls. They don't care what your logo is, they just snatch it and go. So, make it relative to your industry. If you're an accounting firm, maybe you give away little pocket calendars. Maybe you're a construction company and you give away little, mini tape measures with your logo on it. Make it relevant so that they remember when they're looking at this, oh, that's right, these folks are a building company. They don't have to be expensive. There's various price points with all of these things. Like your literature, don't just put them on a table and let anybody take it. They're expensive. Limit it to folks that, they come up and interact with you and talk with you. And then that's why, they're rewarded, I guess, for lack of a better word, they're rewarded by getting maybe a mug or a t-shirt or a hat or something. Even the pens are expensive, so, you'll see it. People will scout the booths even before the show opens and start snagging stuff off your tables. The second you walk away, it's done. Again, beware of giveaway grabbers. You will see them. They literally, oh, I need 2 because I have 3 grandkids, so can I have 3 pens? Then ask that. I've got 2 kids, can I have 2? Again, it's money. It's, maybe it's notepads and it ends up in their, storage closet at the office, and people, you're basically providing them with supplies. So again, keep it relevant and don't be afraid to say no, or hey, can I help you? Or yeah, you can have that ball, what do you do for business? Why are you here? So we'll scurry off pretty quick. Just as important as your booth is your staff and how they, act in the booth. See my little headless guy here with his arms crossed. First impression is everything. You can have a beautiful booth, and if your salespeople are sitting in their booth like Maybe they're on their iPhone, or they're checking emails.
Or they're talking to each other.
We'll talk about that. Yes. Or their neighbor.
Eating. Fun.
Exactly. You've seen it all. I've seen somebody watching a movie on their laptop. No joke. That was the boat show in Raleigh. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I would fire them. First impression is everything. Don't walk away from your booth. If you're not interested in your booth, nobody else is going to be. If you're not interested in your product, why do you expect anybody else that's attending the show to be? Like this guy, don't stand here like this. I mean, that's body language. You're closed off. Yeah, come and talk to me. How many people are going to approach you when you're standing like this? I don't want to be here. My boss made me stand in this booth. So again, body language, the way you interact, you're trying to build relationships. It's intimidating for people to step in your booth. It's like used car salespeople. You don't want to go to the dealership because you know somebody's going to try and sell you something. It's the same thing, you know. Be welcoming, you know, inviting. So again, certainly do not sit down. If you have a straight table with 2 chairs, do not sit in your booth. We have stools. We'll perch because let's face it, your feet are going to hurt. Perch on it. Don't full on sit down because again, it's, you know, you don't look interested in your product. Nobody else is going to come in there. There's the eating. And that's what you look like if you eat in your booth. You know, if you have to have coffee or drink, you know, you've got a counter, definitely, you know, we do it. Put it underneath. Just hide it. And then maybe just turn around and take a sip. Be, you know, conspicuous about it. The eating, it's tough if you're a small business and you're only one manning your booth. Even if you have one of your staffers come in for an hour just to cover you so you can walk away and eat, it's worthwhile. Definitely do it. You do not want to be sitting there with a mouth of food when somebody comes up and asks you, well, what do you guys do? You know, and you've got mustard on your face or something. You had mentioned don't carry on private conversations with your team members or the folks that are next to you. Let's face it, it's a great, you know, opportunity to meet the folks next to you. Maybe they're a potential client, but you've got plenty of time to meet them when people go into sessions. You're more focused on the traffic that's coming into your booth. So be courteous both. Do you have a question?
And I have someone who always answers the phone. They'll be talking to a big customer and stop talking to the person in front of them to answer their cell phone.
Oh. Oh, no. Cell phones can be stuffed in that table too, along with their coffee.
Yes, indeed.
On mute.
What a great lesson. You're investing in their education by firing them. Think about that.
So everybody take away, fire someone.
Yeah. And that's going to go into where we say rehearsing with your staff and letting them know what you expect out of them.
I'm just saying.
It happens. We've all seen it. We've all seen it. So again, and be courteous. If you're talking to your neighbor and somebody comes up to their booth, step back. Give them an opportunity to kind of end that conversation with you and interact with the attendee. You know, just be mindful of that. There's nothing wrong when there's nobody coming by, getting to know your neighbors and seeing if your businesses might be a good fit. I'm going to go back to that used car salesperson. Do not attack people. Don't be an aisle stalker either. I mean, let's face it, some people stand out in the aisle and you have to maneuver around them to get past their booth. And normally they're trying to, you know, give you a piece of paper or, oh, did you get the flyer? Nobody wants to be stalked. I mean, there's nothing more irritating than walking down an aisle. You're like, no, I'm all set, thanks. You know? So again, you know, don't be a used car salesperson. Not that there's anything wrong with selling used cars, but again, you know, we talked a little bit about, you know, backing off when other folks are talking. The attire of your staff is important. I see some of you folks have logoed shirts. Those are great. But maybe you're an accounting firm and wearing a full business suit makes sense in your booth. Maybe you're, you know, more casual in the, you know, polo shirts and khakis makes sense. It's important to make sure all staff are dressed appropriately across the board. If you're going to do polo shirts, have them all wear polo shirts. Have them all wear business attire. Just make sure it's consistent and it's relevant to your industry and what image you're trying to portray. Whether it's casual, business casual, or, you know, these people are going to be spending X amount of dollars if they do business with me, so I need to look really professional. So again, obviously you don't want your booth staff looking, you know, sloppy or whatever. So they're just as much a representation of your company as your booth is. So we already hit on the wear comfortable shoes. Rehearse with your staff. You mentioned cell phones, them answering their cell phones in the middle of the booth. That's something to go over with your staff. You know, you work 2 hours and then maybe you get like a 10-minute break or 15-minute break to go off away from the booth and check email, check your cell phones. I mean, most of us have our email to our phones. You know, schedule your folks accordingly that it gives them that time. They're going to be out of the office all day to go do that, but not in the booth. And, you know, make it known that your cell phone goes, it's hidden, whether it stays in your bag or underneath the reception counter. The volume's off. Nobody wants to hear cell phones ringing. You know, texting your friends, your husband, whoever. You know, you're there to work. You're there to meet people. So, you know, that's something you want to go over with your folks. No new hires. They're just learning your business. They're just learning your product. You do not want them in the booth talking about what you do and trying to sell something they barely know about themselves. So again, just keep that in mind. You know, make sure they know your goals for the show. You know, why are you there? Is it to meet ex-customers? Is it to keep your name out there, let folks know you're still in business? You know, kind of rehearse that. Maybe some key questions they need to ask in order to prospect folks on the show floor. If they have a little questionnaire or something, just make sure you go through all of that in advance so they know what your expectation of, you know, for them is. Again, engage people in questions. You know, everyone's there for a reason. Ask, you know, why did you come to the show today? Why the Business Expo? You know, what do you guys do? Is there anything you're looking for in particular for products or vendors? Kind of engage them, start learning about them. Again, it's right on the back of those business cards, or maybe you do like a little questionnaire that your folks use. So, again, you know, just make sure that you're asking questions that are relevant and you're trying to find out if they're a good fit. It's the same thing you do if you call them and prospected over the phone. Handling solicitors and job hunters. You're going to encounter it. People are going to come up and ask if you're hiring. People are going to try and sell their business to you. Are there any insurance companies in here?
Come on, hit us. We're a very soft approach company.
Yeah.
We're very mellow.
You will find people that will come by and be like, oh, do you have a financial planner? That is not the time. If they want to sell their service, do not be afraid to let Angela, the chamber, know. These folks are soliciting on the floor. I go so far as to say, you know, I'll be happy to talk with you afterwards. I'll take your business card. Or simply say, it's not something I'm interested in, but thanks. Or if they go, well, do you do trade shows? Do you guys do? I'll just completely take them off topic and let them know it's, you know, they're not there. I'm not interested in being sold to on the show floor.
Or you could tell the other insurance companies that are soliciting to join the chamber.
Say again?
Those other insurance folks that aren't members of the chamber, come to join first.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, it's all sorts of things. You know, a number of people approach us. So, again, they want to sell, tell them to buy a booth next year. I mean, you invested, you spent the money. If they want to meet all the people on the show floor, including, you know, the rest of the exhibitors, get a booth space. There's nothing wrong with saying that. You can say it nicely, but directly. So, again, but definitely let the chamber know. There's some repeat offenders that show up, I think. Again, so just let them know. There's some displays, you know, we do portables, custom modulars, and for the sake of time, if you guys are interested in anything like that, definitely come talk to Lori and I, or if you want a copy of this presentation, we provide it to the chamber, or, you know, let me know and I'd be happy to email it to you if you guys want to.
We'll put it on the website. That's what we did with the last one.
And again, there's just kind of different ideas, so that kind of concludes our portion of this.